$500 a month when people on Harrison Street are using 60,000 gallons a month to water their lawn, and they're paying $179 a month. So I think there's some, if you look at it that way, I'm not trying to get by. I'm just trying to get anything by the council. I'm just trying to ask for fairness. I'm trying to ask for discretion. I moved as fast as I could on that with my plumber, and he was able to finally get in there. It took about 90 days with his schedule to get in there. So I hope you recognize that. That cost $1,400 to do that, okay? So it's not like I'm bucking the system. I'm not trying to go around the ordinances. I'm just saying, hey, I worked as fast as I could. So the situation at hand is, I'm not asking for a favor. Eventually, I hope the city council gets there, because I'm asking for everyone that's in the situation, not just Chase Reagan. Anyone who comes to this council with the same situation, I would hope you would give them some discretion and say, you know what, that person wasn't manipulating the system. They just didn't know. And then they worked as fast as they could to remedy the situation. So is it out of fairness right to ding a guy another $400 or $500? I would hope the answer would be no, from your standpoint. This is a tough pill for me to swallow anyway. This is a meet in the middle situation. This proposal that I looked up here. If you go back, because I am on a meter, in my mind, I'm still like, I should be paying $180 a month on average, because that's my usage. That's my gallons. Doesn't matter if I had a 2-foot diameter inlet. Now that I'm down to 1, right? But I'm saying I'm going to meet the council in the middle. $400 would go a long ways. So that's what I'm asking for. If it takes you longer, JB, to change the ordinance for 90 days, which it will, I got it. Well, then the next person comes in, I would hope you give them the same discretion and say, yeah. So that's all I'm asking, out of fairness. I'm not trying to get one by.
Within government, the fairness or equity comes from the establishment of the ordinances and the rate structure. So all metered customers with your similar situation are going to be billed the same way. We did not change the rate. In fact, we did make an error in looking at the size of your service line, and we reduced your bill later. So you are being treated the same as everyone else with your similar circumstances.
I disagree with that, because I haven't been given the necessary time to make the changes. I couldn't make them in 30 days. If I would have been able to. But like I said, when you're looking for contractors to come in and do the work there, it takes time.
Well, I understand that. That's not part of the city's responsibility.
Discretion, I would hope, would be the mayor.
The rates were set in accordance with requirements established in law, and they are being applied.
I'm not arguing that. I'm just asking for 90 days. This would credit me back 90 days to get, which I did. I got everything back there. I got my plumber squared away. We got it reduced down. I'm still using the same gallons. That's all I'm asking.
So your billing will be, moving forward, will be done according to the size water line that you have.
Correct. That's what this proposal is based on.
Prior to that, the billing was done based on the size water line, which is what council adopted.
I know what I'm asking for 90 days before any modifications are done to anyone's billing. Anyone's. And it gives that person 90 days. I'm not, you're trying to go off here, Mayor, with all due respect. I'm asking for 90 days to put that line reduced down to what it should be. That's all I'm asking. So basically a pause on billing for 90 days for anyone, so it gives them time for a contractor to do the work. I'm not arguing your rates, your ordinances. I'm asking for 90 days time to get it adjusted because I didn't know. I did not know.
And you have just reverted back to an ordinance change, and we're talking about what you have been billed.
Am I confusing everyone? I'm asking for 90 days before any modification would have been done to my bill. It went from 180 to $778 upon notice of receiving a letter like that. I didn't get any time to get a contractor over there. It took me 90 days to get it done. That's what I'm asking for. I'm asking for that 90-day block of window to be credited back that. That's what I'm asking for.
Council members?
If I could, Mayor,
Yes.
I'm weighing things. I'm not yet decided. The mayor's doing her job. She's the executive of the city. She's telling you how it is. I'm trying to remember the history, and I beg your forgiveness because a lot of details come through these chairs in the course of a year. We started notifying people of the changes in rates in September of 23, wasn't it? Oh, no, it's September of 24.
No, I will go back over that. Council passed a resolution of intent to increase water rates on June 18th, 2024.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay,
So we're talking about it's been a year.
yes. The required notices were made, required as in statutorily required notices were put in the 43 News on May 24th, May 31st, and June 7th. We held the actual public hearing on July 16th, 2024. As you recall, when we initially sent out that resolution of intent also required the city to send notices to all consumers. That first notice did not include all of the language it should have.
But from a perspective, we've sent twice by mail directly
Yes.
to every account holder.
That the water rates were going to increase. So that whole process, increasing the water rates, which says this based on the size water line you have, this is what you'll be charged up to X number on a meter. That you'll be charged X dollars up to this usage, okay? After all of this was put in place, staff came to me and said, we've got some problems in our billing system in that we've got service lines in here that are the wrong size. Those service lines had first been entered into the billing system in 2019. Okay, so basically 5 years, our metered customers may or may not have been billed according to the existing ordinance at that time. Okay,
Pause, Mayor.
yes.
Do we know what the bill would have been in May of 24 had the line size been correctly entered into the system?
We do not immediately know that.
Okay.
The notification letters did give an estimate to our metered customers. We expect your water bill to go up by X amount. So that calculation had been done.
Yeah,
Yes,
but also please note that we're talking about, we just found out last year that the water line was incorrect. There had been several years prior to that, that it was being misbilled. Also, that was not noticed, nor asked from the city that it be reimbursed.
And in fact, that was the point I was leading to, is in fact, was there a benefit before those dates that's not being addressed?
a benefit to the consumer.
A benefit to the consumer.
Yes.
Where there was an underbilling going on.
Yes, yes,
So to answer your question, JB, if I may, Mayor.
yes.
Okay. I was tracking the increases that everyone else was, and I had planned for those increases because I received notice. Before, I was $180 a month, it was like 65, 67. So I was able to plan and budget as a business owner, and I did. Okay, so then it went up to 180 a month. Then, in May, I received my first bill, $788. There was an error. Well, that's the issue. And the issue is I didn't get 90 days to adjust that.
And I respect that.
Okay,
But we also haven't asked you for the underpayment for the years previous from the point that you owned the laundromat.
but how could you do that?
That's not that hard a calculation, once
No,
we knew
no,
what the
no.
correct rate was.
How could you possibly consider that one? If you talk with Tim Rouser, he will tell you why
At
it
the
was
moment.
billed differently.
And hopefully what he told you was that it was the wrong pipe size.
Well, he said it was the right thing to do because I'm on a meter. I should pay by per gallons per use.
That's not how the ordinance is written.
You need to take that up with your past employee, but that's why it would be in bad faith to even imply that, in my mind.
I respect your opinion, but I'm bound by the ordinances, not by his opinion. We're just simply putting all the cards on the table.
That's fine.
You benefited a number of years from our mistake. And now you're asking us to contribute to a attempt to repair that issue because it occurred too quickly.
But JB, with all due respect, the issue you're doing, though, is you're playing the what-if game. If you would have came to me 2 years ago and said, Chase, there is an issue with your inlet size, I would have fixed it then, just like I did just now. So you can't say I benefited with a cheaper rate. I have all the gallons every month documented. I'm still using less gallons per month than some of these lawn folks in town. It's not right, it's not fair. So you can't say I benefited. I would have fixed it 2 years ago if someone told me.
There's a reasonable argument that says that the city would benefit overall by determining what the cost of a gallon of water is, which the city's trying to do. It's a more complicated calculation than you might think. And then shift everybody to meters. That's a very simple statement for a very complicated choice. At that point, everybody's paying their fair share. But that doesn't change the fact that there's a bill coming from the state for the water upgrades that has to be paid. So while it may shuffle the amount that each individual pays, the total being paid won't change. So when we ask the question, like, is it fair that somebody up there is watering their lawn for that much? Honestly, I agree with you. It's not fair and it shouldn't be done. But we can't, we're playing more what-if games. We're trying to figure out, is this fair? The council has given you a benefit once already because of an unknown circumstance. It was generous, I hope you agree. But now you're asking once again.
This is a separate business. This is a separate business. You have to treat it
It's still you,
on
Chase.
face value.
You got to answer the public.
And I would expect anyone else in my circumstance, I know it's 1 or 2 businesses would be treated the same way. Because in a way, you're discriminating against the laundromat and the Betsy. They're 2 different entities. There's different investors in both of
I
them.
respect the argument. There's too many people who will say that what we're doing is benefiting Chase twice.
I'm asking for what's fair. For anyone to walk in this door, you treat them the same way. It doesn't matter their last name.